Hello everyone, and welcome back to another WARNO deck deep dive. As we this time have a look on a division that has changed a lot, as we look at 35th Air Assault Brigade, a division that went from being the best division in the game to most likely not being quite up there anymore, as it lost its heavy tank detachment. The T-64s are gone from this division, and they make this division feel quite different, and I like it for a start. Like, having divisions, airborne divisions, really feel like airborne divisions, being focused around strong infantry, strong helicopters, good air support, and really fast maneuver with this division in general as well. I really like it. I'm not sure if it's currently on the perfect balance. I would argue that with the removal of tanks, divisions like this can be pushed even harder in the other brackets, so in the long term this will be good. Like, for example, you could argue for removing, at least from some units, the forward deploy tags, so that they become more valuable in the later stage of the game as well, and just are more efficient at what they're supposed to do, as the division already pays for it with not having tanks, which they didn't do before. So in general, I like it. And yeah, let's have a look on what's the current status, as obviously this is not the case just yet, but maybe in the future. For now, we have what we have got here, and it's still a fun thing to work with. So let's jump in here in my logistics tab. As always, let me know down below what you think of the deck. If you have any other ideas, you can let me know as well. With the latest changes, most of my deck codes in my deck list have been broken. I will try to update them over the next couple of weeks, but a couple of them will still stay broken for a good while, until I get around to rebuild the deck. So be cautious when you use those codes. And yeah, let's jump in here with the logistics tab and with the CVs, as we got one CV here, we got one more CV in the infantry tab. As we don't have any tank CVs anymore, this deck of mine dropped from 7 to 5 CVs, which is the lower end. I still feel like this is the amount you want to go with, as you can't really afford more CVs in this tab, and I don't think you can afford them in the infantry tab either. So I have them here, and like with 5, so you have to be a bit careful, but it's still workable numbers. 5 to 7 is my goal. And yep, then we have good supply. We have the Mi-26, which unfortunately now comes at 1 per card, so it's not super big amount of supply anymore, but it's still good amount of supply for its cost as well. And then we have the Dejant Duats as your quick little supply to go around, bring supply from the Mi-26 around as well. Come with forward supply, though this, for example, is a unit where I would argue it can lose its forward deploy cost and just come at 10 points. With it being sellable, I think it's still worth it compared to the Gus, though maybe the Gus is just better. Like, I can't see that argument, but I like the unit. It's a unique unit, that's why I use it here. And then the Mi-8MT comes around as your other helicopter that brings in a good amount of supply at once and brings it quite quickly to the front line. The snaps can move around from it as well, and you can use it to resupply your bigger helicopter numbers or your artillery pieces with it as well. Infantry tab is really, really strong. It comes with quite a bit of amount of veterancy, as, for example, all your Spetsnaz get one extra veterancy here for free, and we use some extra veterancy on some of the BMD infantry units as well, as those are quite key to use, as we'll come to there in a second. But yeah, let's start with the infantry over here. Spetsnaz Comrade, really strong leader, now can kill quite a lot of stuff thanks to its super high veterancy, good accuracy on everything here now and so on, strong perks as well. So these absolutely hit infantry hard, and they have 7 survivability, which is nice for a leader. They can survive a bit of beating, which is key for the leader unit. That's why we pick it over the Dejant Comrade, which have an Igla, can be nice here, but we'd rather have the extra survivability here. Spetsnaz OP, really nice anti-tank, really needed in this deck. The RPG-29 with its long range and high penetration, quite key. Extra veterancy here gives it nice accuracy as well. Plus, it can actually even deal a bit of damage with its Special Forces trait and its AKSUs. But the real damage, obviously, in the infantry fight comes out of the normal Spetsnaz, which come with Special Forces and Shock, and high veterancy base level. So these really hit home. And 8 of them really give you a lot of staying power in those heavy infantry fights. These can delete infantry plops on their own. 12 of them really have a lot of damage output together with the RPO especially. Dejaniki Medis is what you want to use on the outskirts of towns to hold off enemy IFVs and co. The Medi is still a really nice ATGM. Veteran C here helps out a bit as well. Dejaniki DSH coming in helicopters gives you a couple more rocket helicopters, which give you a bit more flying around units, especially to soak damage for other helicopters mostly, to be in front of them with the 20 ECM. That's quite nice. And then the Dejan Conquerors comes as your basic ATGM. We bring it around with a robot as well, so that you get 2 Conquerors out of this, because you will need every bit of AT that you can get in this deck, and the combo here helps out quite nicely. Robot potentially maybe slightly overpriced, but it does its job decently still. Yeah, having an ATGM to keep enemies at bay out of the tree line is nice. Concourse goes onto buildings, good combination. Then the Dejan BMDs bring you some more ATGMs as well. BMD2 with 4 deploy and an autocannon and a concourse. Quite nice. Infantry fighting vehicle. Your only armored vehicle with 2 frontal armor in this deck, so you really want to bring it around in key areas. It's the only kind of armor you get, so these are super important. I would never use a deck without both cards of this, as IFVs are still really key, and these guys with their autocannons are super duper helpful in how you play this deck. And yeah, 2 cards here, 1 vetted, 1 not vetted, because I feel like 13 is the right number. 10 would be a bit low, most likely. So yeah, but the extra veterancy helps you out in the early fights quite nicely. Artillery, Nonas is what we got here. Yeah, just to pin down enemy AA pieces, pin down enemy ATGMs, though ATGMs are not that scary for you, but like stuff like that, the Nona can be nice, killing off enemy mortars, and maybe even if you want to use that as direct fire support, roll it a bit forward for direct fire support. AT I wouldn't recommend. The heat shell has too low of an accuracy to really be worth it, which is a bit unfortunate, but Donna, nice vehicle anyways. Tank tab, we got some D44s, super key. In nice spots, these can stop IFVs especially, but also tanks if they can get some side shots. More Conquerors here, in the form of the UWATs. Forward deployable is nice, and that it comes with a bit better stealth is nice as well. BRDM Conquerors, it's pretty solid as well, but it doesn't have the good stealth. Good stealth really helps the Conquerors here. Recon tab, a pretty important tab as well. The Mi-24K, super important for your openers. And the Spetsnaz GRU and the Saperi Spetsnaz. Some extra special forces that hit quite decently. The Spetsnaz GRU can win a lot of infantry fights as well. Plus they have the GSR trait, so they give you a lot of extra vision. Saperi Spetsnaz here really hit hard with the extra accuracy and stuff. So they do good amount of damage, good rate of fire and all of that, thanks to the extra urgency. So quite nice as well. Yeah, you want your recon infantry. You don't need your recon tab super much for having just 4 deploy infantry. So you don't need the numbers to just spread out early on, because your other infantry already can do that. So these are more for holding positions, but still also having some kill potential. You could argue for the Desert Red Gun instead of the Spetsnaz Sniperi, but I like the Sniperis. That's why I use them here. And then AA tab, E-Glass, pretty decent nowadays again. Yeah, I bring them around in the UWATs. You could bring around them in the Scrats. Actually, no. Actually, we will use them like this. We will bring these around 6 here, 6 here. Let's make some life changes here. Then we have more E-Glass. Plus we have some Scrats. And the Afghansky on low veterancy is not much better than the Scrats on high veterancy, so you might as well do that. As the range is basically the same, and the Shreds now does shred as well. So yeah, we go like that. Strela 1, fast and can hit stuff. It's a pretty solid vehicle as well. You could argue for once level veterancy here for the extra 5% accuracy. Actually, let's do that. Extra accuracy here is quite nice. Going down to 5, but that's fine. We still have enough numbers here to support. And then helicopter tab, obviously quite strong. I like the Akulas with their high ACM, with the Vickers being long range and fast. And then we have the cheap helicopters here with the Mi-24V AA and the rocket versions, and the Aquila AA, Mi-24V and Aquila AA should be able to deal with enemy helicopters. And then these guys here are the hard hitters. And then air tab, really strong as well. 7 fighters, 7 IFVs, an LGB, an AT weapon, and a cheap rocket plane to just throw in there for good measures. I don't like the MiG-27HE too much, so the rocket version it is. Yeah, the MiG-25 is also not that great, and Seed, maybe something to consider. Like that's the one point where I'm torn between rocket, LGB, and Seed. But I feel like the MiG-25 Seed could use some love. It just doesn't feel that great. It's quite slow. Its ECM is decent, but also not amazing. And it has a really terrible turn radius, making it somewhat hard to use, easy to counter. Yes, its rockets are pretty good, but its missiles, but that is about it. So that's why I go with this loadout here. And yeah, you will be able to see that in the near future in some live action. So let's jump to that in the next video. Hope to see you all there. And let me know which division you want to see next. As with the rework around the corner, I try to avoid the divisions that are getting reworked, so I guess there's not that many left. We for sure will get into deck deep dives once those divisions all have been reworked, because I feel like that's also where they will be pretty close to where they will be at launch, hopefully at least. So from there on out, I feel like those might be the final, for now, deck deep dives after 2 years. But for now, this is what it is at. And yeah, what do you think about 35th? See you all next time, guys. Bye-bye, and have a great day.